Y'all, the streets are on fire. And guess who's at the center of it all? None other than Yo Gotti. And baby, when I tell you he's running like the blocks on literal fire, I mean gone, disappeared, vanished, dipped out. Not just from Memphis, no. Gotti has now reportedly fled Dallas too. And honey, this isn't your typical celebrity I need a break exit. Oh no, this is a full-blown scramble for cover kind of move. Because the feds, they're coming. And the word is they've linked Gotti's name to even more murder charges. Yes, more. And let me tell you, the whispers have turned to full-blown screams in the streets. People are saying this ain't just about street drama anymore. This is shaping up to be a federal takedown, possibly a whole RICO case in the making. If you thought what happened to Young Thug was wild, buckle up, because it looks like Gotti's empire is about to face the same storm. Let's be clear, this man isn't just going out of town, all right? He's allegedly hopping city to city, maybe even country to country, trying to stay one step ahead. But time's ticking, and the feds don't play games. And after what went down in the young Dolph case, it's like every single person with CMG ties is under the microscope. And get this, unconfirmed reports are already floating around from federal agents saying Gotti is being investigated for other murders now too. No hard evidence has dropped yet, but come on, the timing alone is a red flag wrapped in sirens. Like, baby, this ain't just coincidence. It's a man on the run. Let's not forget, during the whole young Dolph trial, things got ugly and fast. One of the suspects, Cornelius Smith, got up on that witness stand and dropped bombs. According to his alleged testimony, the hit on Dolph was ordered by none other than Gotti's late brother, Big Juke. And guess what else came out? Somebody from CMG, yes, Gotti's own crew, allegedly slid $50,000, 0 cents, to help cover those legal fees. Now, who covers fees that heavy unless they got something to hide?
And you knew that, just if we're all clear here, that money came from CMG, right?
Smith claimed that he and Justin Johnson were recruited to collect a $100,000 0 cents bounty, allegedly put up by Big Juke. Let that sink in. 100 grand to take Dolph out. Cornelius said they were each promised $40, 0 cents K, but the gag, he only saw $800, 0 cents before he got snatched up in 2022. Baby, what kind of betrayal is that? And y'all, this is what gets everybody saying what we've all been thinking. CMG might not just be a label. It might be operating like a criminal enterprise, and if the feds decide to treat it that way, say hello to RICO charges and say goodbye to freedom. Wack 100 even stepped in and said this whole thing smells exactly like what went down with YSL, and y'all already know, Wack talks reckless, but he's not always wrong.
They said, didn't CMG pay for your attorney $50,000? Yeah, but they didn't give it to me. He said, yeah, but they paid for it because you killed Dolph, right? Yeah, well, that was your compensation, right?
Now hold up. Gotti tried to act like none of this had anything to do with dodging heat. His excuse? Business, darling. He claimed he went to Dallas to sign a local rapper named Zillionaire Doe to CMG. Sure, Jan. On the surface, it looked all glitzy and corporate, smiling for photos, announcing he's opening a CMG office in Dallas, talking expansions and trying to grow the empire. But let's not be blind. People ain't buying that it's all about contracts and music. Gotti's name has always had street ties, and not the kind you brag about on Instagram. The whispers say he's tight with big movers, especially dudes dealing in white, and we're not talking about t-shirts, sis. This is the kind of connection that gets feds ready to pounce. And guess where he's trying to set up shop? Texas, specifically Dallas. And baby, the Texas feds don't play games. They don't talk, they don't tweet, they just build cases quietly, and then boom, you're in cuffs before breakfast.
When you selling that dope, the feds coming. It's been the history of Dallas. The feds coming when you start talking about that type.
So Gotti thinking he can plant his flag in Dallas while the flames from Dolph's murder are still burning? That's bold and dangerous, because if the feds even get a sniff of shady activity from him, it's over. It is that he's now bouncing like a ping pong ball, and people are asking the obvious. Is he running from rival gangs, or is he running from the feds? Let's not forget, Gotti was one of Dolph's biggest enemies. Gotti wanted to be done by then. Gotti wanted him on CMG, offered the bag, the car, probably the whole dealership, but Dolph wasn't for sale. And from that moment on, it was war. A war that ended in blood. And as we all know, Big Juke, Gotti's brother, became one of the biggest casualties of that war. But that wasn't just bad luck, that was a message. Because when Dolph died, Memphis didn't just lose a rapper. Son from Cal, if you haven't seen this on Netflix. They lost a pillar, a hero, a man of the people. He wasn't about flexing wealth. He was out here feeding the hungry, giving back, putting smiles on kids' faces during the holidays. He had the Ida Mae Family Foundation named after his grandmother, and every single year he would show up and show out for the people who needed it most. Remember the baristas at Duke University who got fired for playing his track Get Paid? Dolph heard about it and personally showed up with $20,000, 0 cents cash, and told them they'd be good until they found new jobs. Who does that? And just 2 days before he was killed, he was still visiting the West Cancer Center in Germantown, thanking the staff that helped his family. That man had a heart of gold. So when Dolph got gunned down, Memphis erupted. And y'all, it wasn't just the streets that felt it. Even the cops knew it was about to get ugly. They literally put out public warnings, telling folks to stay inside unless it was absolutely necessary to step out. That's how serious the situation got. Retaliation wasn't just expected, it was guaranteed. And it didn't take long to show up. Carry on. Let's talk about what came next. One of the first to fall, Darian D. Moneychild, a local comedian who thought it would be funny to make jokes about Dolph's death online. Yeah, he thought it was cute, cracking jokes, trying to go viral, but baby, Memphis don't play about Dolph. Those streets have long memories and zero patience for disrespect. Not even a full week after his little stunt online, D. Moneychild was shot. Just like that. No warnings, no second chances, he was gone. And here's where things get really messy. He wasn't some random troll. He was reportedly connected to Gotti. Photos started circulating of them together. Maybe acquaintances, maybe more. But the streets saw it and put 2 and 2 together.
News right now, we know the trial date for the man accused of killing Memphis rapper Young Dolph. Prosecutors say Hernandez Govan was the mastermind in the killing back in November of 2021.
So even though Desto had nothing to do with the hit directly, many saw her murder as a warning, a punishment, a line in the sand. No one, not even blood relatives, was off limits. Suddenly it became crystal clear. This is bigger than rap. The streets were on a mission. And the mission? Make sure everyone who had a hand in Dolph's death, directly or indirectly, paid. The fallout hits home. Black youngster's tragedy. Fast forward to August 18th, 2023. It's a warm summer morning in Memphis, 9:30 a.m. Police get a call. A man's been shot outside a BP gas station on South Parkway East. By the time they arrive, the victim is already gone, laid out on the pavement. That man, Tamanuel Benson. Black youngster's brother. But here's what's wild. The shooter, Randy Ewing, didn't even try to hide. No mask, no attempt to cover up, just walked up, handled business, and walked away. The police had such clear surveillance footage, they put it out immediately and offered a $5,000 0 cents reward for any info. Now, you already know Black youngster and Dolph had beef for years. Remember back in 2017, over 100 shots were fired at Dolph's bulletproof SUV in Charlotte? Youngster was arrested. Charges didn't stick. But that energy, it never died. You didn't misread that. Word was Dolph and Gotti were staying in the same hotel when it went down. Their crews bumped into each other, things escalated, and then the bullets flew. Gotti ended up facing attempted murder. We're not even going to say it out loud for YouTube, but the charges were dropped. Still, that was the turning point. This was no longer rap beef. This was life or death. And the truth, Dolph kept surviving again and again until one day he didn't. The empire collapses. One by one, they fall now. Here we are years later. And everybody tied to Dolph's murder is either locked up 6 feet under or on the run. Big Juke, gone. Lot of Cash Desto, gone. Teasy, gone. Black youngster's brother, gone. And now, all eyes are on Yo Gotti. Because here's what people are saying. For the longest time, Gotti moved like he was untouchable. Everyone around him caught the heat, but he somehow stayed clean, untouched, like a mob boss watching chaos from a distance. But that time is coming to an end because the feds are watching now, and they don't care about fame, money, or billboard hits. And the talk on the block, Gotti's mama was almost killed. His brother was assassinated. The empire is shaking. CMG record label or RICO target? The real question on everyone's mind, is CMG next on the RICO list? If the feds decide to treat CMG the way they treated YSL, it's game over. Cause the dots, baby, they're already connecting themselves, from cash drops to hit orders to gang affiliations. Everything points to something way bigger than just music. And let's not pretend we haven't seen this play out before. First, it's quiet investigations, then 1 arrest, then 2, and then suddenly a sweep with everyone in orange jumpsuits doing interviews from federal holding. Gotti's been dashing from city to city, popping up, disappearing, reappearing somewhere new. There's talk of him going international, some even saying he's got plans to lay low outside the country. But where are you gonna go? ago when the feds got files and Dolph's crew got shooters. The streets are talking and they want justice because, let's be honest, Dolph was a hero to his city. He was more than a rapper. He gave back. He inspired. He made folks believe. His loss hurt more than just fans. It ripped a hole in Memphis. And the streets? They're not letting it slide. They're watching everyone connected to his death, and they're marking names off one by one. Gotti's not just running from the law. He might be running from the vengeance. The street justice that doesn't wait for a trial. Because after all this, after the blood, the funerals, the heartbreak, the disrespect, the endless online mocking, it's finally looking like the circle is closing. The final question, is Yo Gotti safe anywhere? And now as we look at the wreckage left behind, there's one question on everyone's lips. Is Yo Gotti safe anywhere he goes? Because from Dallas to Memphis, Atlanta to LA, the name Yo Gotti is no longer just about music. It's about a war, a loss, a legacy, and a story that might not end well for the man who once called himself king. The feds are circling, the streets are watching, and Gotti? He's running out of time. So what do you think? Will CMG fall under RICO like YSL? Will Gotti finally face justice, or will he escape it all one last time? Let us know in the comments below.